Hello trader, welcome back to another weekly Forex forecast. Last week of July 2025. Now this week packed with FOMC, NFP as well as BOJ policy rate announcement. Quite a few very important high impact news on dollar, CAD, JPY in major pairs. Definitely can expect a big move on DXY as well as on XAU USD, including JPY pairs. So this is gonna be the biggest week possibly for the month, and let's look at some of the pairs that I have shortlisted that we could see significant move in this upcoming week. Therefore, we can expect quite a few significant trading opportunity throughout the week. So starting with first of all DXY, let's see what kind of movement this week we can expect on DXY. Now before I progress with this complete multi-time frame analysis, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So let's begin with DXY, starting with the higher time frame first. Okay, so first of all, let's look at monthly chart, as monthly, weekly and daily higher time frame will give us clear direction, removing all the noise from the lower time frame. Now looking at monthly, starting from this high, we can see that it's a sharply falling market. Currently the market is below this monthly support level, which is an important monthly support here, and also support here, on the monthly perspective on DXY. And if we look at this high, we can see that from here the price has started to drop back to this monthly support, followed by we have seen break of support, and this current monthly week we are almost at the end of the month. If we look at the overall price action, we can see that the bulls couldn't make significant bounce. That means the price didn't create a new higher high. So far we have few days, but what we can see, expect that this market to potentially continue to drop, as it's a sharply falling market and it may not directly start to bounce from here. Instead, what I think we may see continuation back below, and if this market continues to drop, as there is a nearest order block that we can see, which is this resistance here, turning support here, and we could see that DXY even potentially to continue to drop next month as well. That being said, from the weekly we can see a reflection of that price action. We see that it's a sharply downtrending market. Upon this crossover from this 10 and 20 EMA, we see the market was trading below 10 EMA, and once from the weekly the prices crossed the 10 EMA, rejected strongly back below this, and later we see the market is respecting this 10 EMA as a dynamic resistance. And after the previous weekly rejection from this 10 EMA, this week we see that as expected the market opened with a gap low and then rejected back below. This is a bearish engulfer currently at the moment on DXY, leaving a long wick at the bottom here. Therefore we can expect for this market to continue to drop here, fill that long wick, and then price to drop back below this weekly support level. And if we look at the daily chart here on DXY, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily price action where the market is maintaining the downtrending market structure. From here we can see this is a daily drop to this support level, followed by this pullback, and we can see the market has created another impulsive move back below. From this daily high we see that impulse followed by this pullback to this daily 20 EMA. But I think this week we might see initial pullback potentially to fill some of this daily long week, and what I think the price may potentially continue to trend down, as we are seeing that higher time frame showing bearish price action in this market. So from the 4-hour chart here on DXY, we can see that there was a bounce here, break of structure. Currently the market, and if you look at this downtrend here on the intraday, we can see that with this gap open, the market has broken back below, followed by this pullback, which was maintaining a typical downtrending market structure. followed by we have seen that break of swing high here, and then the price has managed to drop back again below this level. Here what we could see in this market, the price to test and then to continue to drop here to create a new lower low in this market. So this could be the potential wave for this upcoming week on DXY. Therefore, we can expect now in the USD pairs to see the reflection of DXY, as most of them are mirror of DXY. Starting with euro dollar, guys, that looking at monthly, now just we see that a mirror reflection of DXY on euro dollar, which is strongly bull market, and we are almost at the end of the month, and this monthly candle is potentially closing as a doji. Now if it is closing as a doji, as it is a highly bullish market, we can expect it to continue to rise, as starting from here there is no any red bearish candle. Now therefore, if this one is closing is potentially as a red doji or as a green doji, the next candle potentially to bounce back up to this high here. So from the monthly on euro dollar, we can expect this market to continue to rise. Now if we look at the weekly chart here on euro USD, we can see that from the weekly it's trending here, also maintaining typical uptrending market structure, which is creating series of higher high and higher low, which is in an uptrend. And what we can see last week, a bullish candle formation from the weekly, maintaining that series of higher low and also respecting this 10 EMA in this market on euro dollar. Therefore, we can expect for the market to continue to rise here to create a new higher high in this market. So looking at a daily chart on euro dollar, that you can see from the daily time frame, here is the daily price action where there is an impulse correction. The market is maintaining that series of higher high and higher low, which is also showing typical uptrend, except last 2 days we saw a pullback. Now if you compare this impulse on the daily, which is basically a sharp bullish move, we have seen that bigger green candle with a long wick at the top, and that has a volume in the bullish, and back to back 2 days we saw that narrower red candle with a long wick at the bottom. That means whenever this market is dropping, the buyers are buying, and we might see that potential another effort from the buyers to create another new higher high, potentially to break this previous swing high on euro dollar. Now looking at the 4-hour chart here to see potential entry, here we can see that there is a breakout structure. This is the previous swing low here in this uptrend, and the market after breaking of this low, we can see is preparing for a potential bounce back to the upside. And with the market open here, we might see any kind of liquidity grab or potentially breaking any of this previous session's low can give us potential entry opportunity on euro dollar, and this could be the potential wave for the upcoming week on euro dollar. Now let's look at the British pound US dollar. We can see that GBPUSD is showing stronger bearish impulse here than the euro dollar. So let's see that from the monthly how the market structure has formed here on British pound US dollar. Now British pound US dollar, if you look at this monthly candlestick pattern, you can see that also it's a strongly bull market. Now we have almost 4.5 days for this candle to close, which is with the market open 4 days for the monthly candle, and the price tested this previous monthly low here, and we can see that slowly building up a long wick, and that could give that GBPUSD to potentially bounce here to create a new higher high here. So therefore from the monthly we can expect for this market to continue to rise here. Now if we look at the weekly here on GBPUSD, from the weekly time frame we can see that here is the previous swing low has broken, and followed by last week we saw a long wick candle on GBPUSD. Now with this long wick candle, we can see that this market is maintaining that bullish market structure, and in that bull market, after the price testing multiple times this swing low here, it's maintaining that bullish market structure from the weekly. And that being said, what we can expect for this market to continue to trend here to create a new higher high. This is the previous swing high here from the weekly, and we may see the price to go back up to create a new higher high. Now, if you look at a daily chart here in this market on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily, here is the daily impulse followed by this correction, and last 2 days we saw a sharp drop, and I think it may in the beginning potentially to retest this level here. This is an imbalance in the market. From the daily chart, you can see support level, expecting the market to break below here and then to return back again to the direction of the trend. So looking at the 4-hour chart here, that you can see this market to potentially come back here to grab liquidity and then to trend back here to create a new higher high in this market. So this could be the potential wave on GBPUSD to continue to rise here to create a new higher high. Now looking at the AUDUSD, we can see that from the lower time frame also showing possible bullish move, and looking at the monthly here on AUDUSD, you can see that from the monthly time frame, this is the monthly price action, where from this support level there is a sharp breakout on the monthly on AUDUSD with a long wick candle, and this is the almost nearing to the end of the month, and we can see that AUDUSD is also sharply bullish, maintaining that series of higher low on the monthly, giving a very high probability for this market to continue to trend here, and we might see that the price to go ahead and fill that imbalance in this market from the monthly. Now if we look at the weekly, we can see it's also maintaining typical bullish market structure. We have seen multiple times the market has broken from the trend line, which in fact a stronger liquidity grab, and whenever the price has broken below, we see sharp rejection to the upside, which is maintaining that typical bullish market structure. And last week we saw a bullish candle with a long wick at the top and maintaining that higher low here. Therefore this week we may see, after initial pullback, the market to potentially push back here to fill that wick and continue to rise to the major direction of the trend. Now from the daily, here is a breakup structure on the daily time frame that you can see the market is broken from the structure back below, grab the liquidity and then bounce back up, tested this support, and then we can see here also the market has broken back below here and then strongly bounced back to the upside here. And with that bounce, what we can see in this area, the price potentially after this break pull back, expecting that another bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high in this market. So looking at a 4-hour chart here, that you can see from the intraday time frame, here is a drop from this level on the intraday, and with this drop here the market has broken back below, and we see the price tested this previous resistance, which is turning support here. From that level we can expect for this market to continue to rise here to create a new higher high. Therefore from the lower time frame on AUDUSD, we may see the market potentially to continue to rise here to create a new higher high. This could be the wave on AUDUSD in the upcoming week. Now let's look at NZDUSD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in this market. So looking at monthly on NZDUSD, we can see that this is the monthly price action, where this is where the market is maintaining that series of higher low. So you see the price was maintaining that series of higher low, where the price from this series of higher low, we may see the price to bounce back up here to create a new higher high. So looking at the weekly chart here on NZDUSD, we can see that from the weekly time frame the price tested this support, bounced back to the upside, and you can see break of support, again bounce back to the upside, and the market is maintaining that series of higher low here in this market, which is typically a bullish market structure from the weekly, and we could see the market to continue to rise. Now if we look at the daily chart here on the daily, we can see that it's a bull market as well, and we can see the price was maintaining that support and bounce, drop to that support, bounce, drop to that support. It's maintaining also that bullish market structure on the daily, and after this impulse 2 days of pullback, like all the USD pairs, we see that is showing that bigger, stronger impulse on bullish than the bearish. Therefore, with the new market open on the lower time frame, we might see the price to pull back and then to continue to rise here to the major direction of the trend to create a new higher high, or potentially to bounce back up to this long-term resistance line. This week we might see a stronger move as with the NFP and FOMC. So looking at dollar CAD here, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in this market. So you can see that from the monthly, dollar CAD is just also reflecting DXY movement. Starting from here, we saw that there was a complete reversal to this support level on the monthly. As we have seen, there is a sharp drop, a bigger drop on the monthly, and is approaching this monthly swing low. This is the start of this bullish move that we have seen in the past on the monthly, as this market has returned almost nearly to that support level. Highly likely you could see a retest of this support, or even potentially to break below before it bounced back to the upside. And therefore, from the monthly, this month we might see close back below as a doji, and then potential continuation in the upcoming month here for a bearish move on dollar CAD. Now, looking at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that it's maintaining bearish market structure. There is a drop here from this level, followed by this pullback to the 10 EMA, and you can see another drop followed by this pullback to the 10 EMA, and the market is maintaining that series of lower high here on the weekly chart here on dollar CAD. And with that drop, expecting that this market to potentially retest this high and then to continue to drop to create a new lower low in this market. So this is the previous swing high here on dollar CAD, expecting that the market to drop, fill that week to create a new lower low. Now, if you look at the daily chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily time frame, where the market is maintaining that series of lower high, and with that series of lower high, we can expect it to continue to drop here to create a new lower low in this market. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart here that you can see on dollar CAD, we saw that there was a huge breakdown followed by a move back to the upside to this resistance, and now the price is rejecting again with as there was a very single bounce back to the upside to this key level. Now, if you guys look at it, you can see it's a one single move without any proper pullback. Therefore, this market, what I think, after initial pullback, potentially to continue to drop again to this support level. So this could be the potential wave for the upcoming week on dollar CAD. The market may initially pull back and then to drop back down to this long-term monthly support level, or even continue to drop here to this direction, including the upcoming month price action as well. So looking at the XAUUSD, now gold was, as you can see that guys, the past week was extremely volatile, and we are almost nearly to the closing of this candle on the monthly. Now, looking at, first of all, bigger picture as usual, we can see that back-to-back 2 monthly, long week here, and this monthly candle here, you can see it's a sharp rejection, and that rejection we could see the market potentially to continue to drop here. And I think this monthly candle could close as a doji. Now we see that back-to-back 2 dojis already. But I think that this candle might close near to the previous monthly close, forming back-to-back 3 dojis, or even before the monthly close, the price could try to break this low here. As we see, there is a sharp rejection from the top. We might see a test of this bottom. Now, if we look at the weekly price action, we see there is a weekly close with a pin bar or doji. Now, this pin bar, if we look at the high of this pin bar, we can see that this weekly pin bar has rejected from this top, from this weekly resistance line, and that pin bar may, what I think, push that price back below. Though we see that weekly series of higher low, but as there is a very sharp drop from the high, and we spot a head and shoulder here. Therefore, the sellers could try to sell the next week to break that low And I think if we look at here, guys, you can see that this 20 EMA has not been tested for a very long period of time, and we might see the market to drop here, tested the 20 EMA, and then to potentially continue to rise here. Now, if we look at the daily chart here in this market, on the daily on XAUSD, this is the daily price action where there is a resistance here, and also resistance here, which is an important level of resistance with a head and shoulder formation. And that resistance, if you look at this long rejection on the daily back-to-back 3 days, the market has dropped to that support. Now, we may see there are two potential scenarios. One is for the price to be strongly bullish from here and going back to the high. The other scenario is the price to drop here. What I think the later scenario to play out as this market has a pattern here. If you look at the past, what we see that when the market was rejecting from that level, it was having a sharp drop to create almost the low of this consolidation. Now, starting from here, as you know, what happened in the past is likely to happen again. We can see from here, with this rejection from this resistance line, the market has made this low, and then the price has gone to the same level. So from this level, we saw that the price is again broken back below here, and the same kind of pattern with a green candle, immediate rejection with a red candle dropping to that level, and we see that green candle immediate rejection with a bearish engulfer dropping to that level. Now we see the same kind of pattern, green candle followed by a bearish engulfer with a full body red, high cross, low cross. It's a sharp bearish engulfer. That's a reversal candle, and we saw that as a reflection. 2 days the market dropped on the daily, the price currently below the 10 EMA, and as this market is dropping down and with a head and shoulder formation, we may see that now potentially any of these swing low to be broken. And what I think that the market, if we go back to the monthly here, this is the monthly low, this current monthly low, and if we look at the daily chart here, where we see this is the monthly low, and what I think the price to possibly break that low and before it reject back to the upside or even consolidate here for an extended period of time. So from the 1 hour, from the intraday time frame, for a potential entry here, that we can spot this clean downtrending market structure starting from here, this drop. So if we draw this swing high and low, we can see that this market currently here, and the previous swing high is here, which is the previous support zone here. Here if we spot it turning resistance in that area, so that support turn resistance can give this market another wave back below here to create a new lower low. So what I think that this week, therefore, there might be an initial move, as we see there is a rejection here that could give another probability to sell this market. So, and what I think in the beginning of the week, we can expect initial bounce for weak fill of this zone on the lower time frame. So if we look at here, it's almost also 128 pip move. So in the beginning of the week, we may see that potentially uptrend or a sideways market. So this could be the wave for the upcoming week. Now, if this market is maintaining here bullish market structure, I will be looking for short-term bullish entry, though it's a bear market here on the daily and lower time frame. We will be also looking for selling from any of this important zone here. So this could be the potential wave for the upcoming week for the gold and any trade coming, guys and girls. Also, I will be sharing in the group that for those who are following me, and also will be as you know that I'm posting regularly live analysis on the channel. So make sure, guys, you join the channel by subscribing to the channel, and also press the notification bell so that you're not missing any of the update and content that I'm posting every single day. Now let's look at ENPR to see what kind of trading opportunity you might see looking at the monthly chart on GBPJPY. Now looking at monthly, we can see that GJ from the monthly perspective here, from this support level, which is a bigger move on the monthly on GJ, and what we can see that this market, we are almost nearly to the end of the month. which is forming a doji on the monthly chart. Now if we look at the weekly, what we can see that from the weekly time frame, maintaining a bullish market structure. The price is maintaining that support level on the weekly time frame, and with this weekly support maintenance, that the market, there is a doji here, expecting this market to bounce back up here on the weekly to create a new higher high. So if we look at the daily here on GBPJPY, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily price action where there is a daily consolidation that we can see. And with this daily consolidation, this is where there's a daily liquidity grab that we can see on GJ. What I think the market to break below here, what I think in the beginning, that might give a momentum for this market to bounce back up to create a new higher high. So looking at the 4-hour chart here on GBPJPY, with this long consolidation on GJ, which is a sharp consolidation, what I think the price may try to drop here to break this low, as we see that a sharp head and shoulder formation with series of lower high here, and we can expect that GJ to drop back potentially to this support level. And that could be in the beginning, we may see that potential breakup structure, and what I think after that we can expect the market to trend back again. So in the beginning of the week, from the daily chart that we can see a bearish engulfer, long consolidation, we may see that short-term drop that could reflect on the weekly as a doji, and we might see potential breakup structure and then to return back to the upside. That could be the potential wave for the upcoming week on GBPJPY. Now let's look at the dollar yen. Let's see what kind of market structure is forming. Now looking at monthly on dollar yen, we can see that we are almost at the end of the month on dollar yen, and this market as well, we can see that this is a long-term bear market. Here we see that quite a few months dollar yen was bearish with this long big move back below with a long wick followed by a doji, followed by, we can see the last month a long wick candle formation on dollar yen, and that long wick, what I think the price to potentially trend back below here to this support level. If we look at the weekly perspective here on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly, this is where the market was in a downtrend, followed by, we can see that there is a breakup structure in that area, and that breakup structure has created a long wick candle. And what I think that this week the market may retest and then to return back again to fill that long wick here and then to continue to drop to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart here on dollar yen, we can see that this is an overextension of this resistance line. So if we look at on the daily time frame on dollar yen, we can see the market was in a downtrend respecting this resistance line. Whenever the price is reaching that level, getting that rejection, followed by, we can see few days the market crossed that high here. It created a consolidated structure in that area, and I think this could be an overextension, as we are expecting on DXY to be bearish. As with the weakness on dollar yen, we might see either sideways. If the dollar get weaker than JPY, we might see the market to drop and to continue to drop to create a new lower low. So if we look at the 4-hour chart here, though we see that there is a local uptrend here, what I think the price potentially to move little sideways, grab liquidity, and potentially to continue to trend back below in the major direction of the trend. So this could be the wave on dollar yen for the upcoming week. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity arises. Traders, make sure you give a thumbs up as I mentioned, and also join the Telegram channel. You can find link below this video for more updated education as well as promotion, where you can also sometime